Welcome to Social Work Sunday Tea. I am Shakia Houston. It is April 18, 2021. It's a great day to be alive and well. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's a great day. I have a special guest here. If you would like to introduce yourself, make sure you tag people. We're talking. We have a good discussion today. So if you can, Miss Sheila, if you introduce yourself and
Of
tell us about
course.
yourself.
Thank you, Ms. Shakia, for having me on. My name is Sheila Kusiasari, and I am a licensed master social worker in the state of New York. I have been in this field for God knows how long. I don't want to say how long, but I think I might be giving out my age, right? Um, but a little over 15 years doing the work in social services. And I am also the owner of SKA Therapeutic Services, where we provide counseling, coaching, therapeutic, products, as well as consultation services. So thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for saying yes. Thank you so much. I just
You're
got a name. Yes, so I'm just definitely honored. What made you get into the social service field? What made you?
It's just, yeah. I've always had a passion for working with people, right? When I was younger, I thought I wanted to be a pediatrician. And I was like, going to school to be a pediatrician, that's too long. So, yeah. But, after I graduated with my bachelor's, I was fortunate enough to get a job as a child advocate or child care worker, rather, working in a residential treatment facility. And so through that experience, I just found this passion for it. And a lot of my experience have been working with mostly children, youth, adolescents. And so, I just love it. I enjoy what I do. I currently work full-time as a school social worker, and then I have, the business on the side as well. So it's just my passion. It's just what I enjoy doing.
Oh, wow.
So that's just a little bit of why.
Cool. So how has it been being a school social worker during COVID? What does that look like?
Oh, Lord, it's been a lot. It's been challenging. As we went into this lockdown last year, right? And I think that happened in March of last year, and having to transition from our normal routine to this way of, living, being confined to our homes and not being able to go anywhere and do anything. And it was challenging for a lot of our students, right? And now that we're back in the school system, it's even more challenging. Again, we were confined to our homes. We weren't really engaging with people. And, now in the school settings, we're seeing a lot of anxiety, depression, a lot of suicidal ideations. And so, it's just been a lot. And, we just try to manage and try to support our students as much as we can,
Absolutely. And we gotta thank you for doing that, to be that, beacon of light, because it's a lot. It's a lot. I think the children, they're going through just like the adults, they're feeling it as well. Yeah, in a major way. They can't see their friends and things like that. It's just too much. The learning how to learn it.
Yeah. When you adding all that, it's a lot. And sometimes I think we forget, right, as adults, that our kids are going through stuff too. We have to always be mindful that they're dealing with a lot. And so we need to make sure that we're meeting them where they are, and just, being supportive, even with our own children, we just have to make sure we're supporting them. So
absolutely. So we're going to talk about today. Our topic for today is burnout.
Yes. Jesus.
Do you feel like, people over exaggerate? Oh, I'm burnt out. I'm burnt out. Are you really burnt out, or are you just burnt out? It's a difference. I want to give a definition of burnout. Burnout is a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by excessive and prolonged stress. It occurs when you feel overwhelmed, emotionally drained, and unable to meet demands.
Yes.
So that's the definition of burnout. So what are some, do you, wait, that's this question. Do you feel burnt out? Like during COVID,
Well,
during,
I think there was a point where I felt burned out, right? I think initially, so I had COVID in the beginning.
oh, okay.
And so when we were in the lockdown, I actually experienced COVID. And so that was difficult. And I was actually working through because I didn't know that I had COVID. I'm just like, oh, it's just a cold. And, and so during that time, I would say that I had some sense of burnout. Like I was physically not well. I was emotionally not well. I was not, mentally not well. And trying to like take care of myself, and then also trying to do my work. I wasn't taking time from work. I was just like going through it and doing it. And in that state, I would say that I got to the point where I felt burnout. And eventually I had to tell my job, I'm like, I'm sick, like I'm not feeling well, and I need to take some time for myself. And so, to answer your question, I've experienced it before, and I think, a lot of people go through it where we're just like physically, emotionally, mentally drained, because we have so much stress that we're constantly dealing with. Right. So something, that I've been through before.
Yeah, definitely. I'm probably there. I'm on the edge. About to, someone said I burn out. I'm burnt out right now. I'm burnt out. Okay, you burnt out right now.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, when you burnt out, your body goes through these changes. Like I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I get delusional. Like I just like, listen, I'm not gonna make it. Like I pray. We pray, and we ask God to help us through it. And then the thing is, we keep constantly going back to what was burning us out. So it's like, okay, where's the what am I doing here?
Why do we keep going through the cycle, right?
I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it. So it's like, some of the symptoms. What are some of the signs and symptoms of being burnt out so people can know?
So we have the physical signs, right? And, the emotional signs, as well as like the behavioral signs. And when we say like the physical signs, it's like the feeling of being tired and being drained all the time. Sometimes, constantly like having like sickness within our bodies, sometimes like having headaches, muscle aches, you're changing your appetite. Your sleep might be impacted, right? So those could be the physical signs. And then when we talk about the emotional signs and symptoms, sometimes having our own sense of like, failure, self-doubt, decrease in the satisfaction in terms of, our own accomplishments and things that we're doing for ourselves. We can also feel alone. We might detach from people, right? And feeling like helplessness. And when we talk about the behavioral, we're talking about, being withdrawn from like our daily responsibilities. Sometimes we procrastinate. You have something that you need to do, but, you keep like putting it off and just waiting.
Yes.
Those signs of burnout, right? And even using food as a way to cope, right? When we're stressed out, you have the piece where the physical piece where there's a change in the appetite, but then there's people that also use like food as a mechanism for them to cope. And sometimes just like talking out of frustration because you're overwhelmed, you're burnt out. And, like when we talked about this whole COVID situation, working from home and having your kids being home as well, that's a lot.
Send them away, go. That's what a lot of parents like,
Yeah,
it's gonna be going on because these kids got to go back to school.
Yes, and so there's those like aspects, right? The physical, the emotional, the behavioral pieces that we have to look at when we're talking about burnout.
Yeah, absolutely. I think more so when you said as far as like eating, emotional eating, like, oh, I'm burnt out, let me eat. It brings comfort. Yeah. Even alcohol and wine, that comforts.
Yes.
People, they go to that. I heard on the news where the increase of alcohol consumption during COVID has increased. Everybody they're
They're
turn
trying
it
to
up.
manage, right? They're trying to figure out whatever they need to do to get through this difficult time, you know?
Yes,
And
they're trying to get through it. Yes.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's been tremendously, I know that it's been a tremendous change, increase. The majority of the time, like the liquor stores, they never closed. The liquor stores never closed during COVID. Everything else closed. It was like you kind of like that's where your main focus. Okay, you can't go to the hospital if something happened. You gotta go here. You gotta go. It was too much. So it's kind of like that's a burnout. Like I'm burned out. If we talk about COVID, like I'm burnt out from COVID. Like I don't want to hear, like I cut down the TV. I turn it off. I don't want to hear nothing else. Like that's why I'm met with it. As far as those things, as far as like burning out, being burnt out. What are some places where you can, some areas of your life you can be burnt out? I know for one, relationships you can be burnt out from.
Yes, and I think a lot of times too, people think like burnout is just like work related, right? But even for our kids that we're talking about in the schools, like school, doing all that schoolwork, that can cause a sense of burnout, right? Trying to manage and trying to keep up with the workload, especially the ones that are doing like, remote or virtual, that can also be an area, right? In our personal lives, in our relationships, like you said, we can experience it, and we can experience it in our jobs. A lot of times people deal with it more so like within their jobs, right? And so, those are some of the areas that we need to pay attention to, even being mothers, being parents, right? That, you have all this responsibility and all these things that you're constantly doing and trying to balance that and balance your your professional life, right? And so all these areas can cause like, you to feel some sense of burnout within yourself. And so we just have to be mindful when we're, experiencing, especially when we feel that something is off, right?
Absolutely. I just, you get that like, oof. And it's more so when you burnt out the heaviness, that heaviness, like, okay, here we go again. Especially being a parent, dealing with these children. I got a almost teenager. Like
I have a teenager, so I can relate.
Oh my goodness. I'm just like, Chelsea, please let mama breathe real quick. I just want to just be easy. We're gonna do it. She asked me over and over and over again. I'm like, Chelsea, I haven't forgot about you. You're my only child. Okay. Yeah. Someone said you can experience burnout in work, family, and even at church.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with that. Most definitely. Yeah.
Definitely.
Some churches might not be feeding your soul spiritually, or maybe taking on too much within the church, taking on so many different responsibilities. All of that. There's so many different areas that we can experience burnout, so I'm glad that somebody said that even with the church, most definitely.
Yeah. Especially, like you said, taking on different roles. You got to be here for Sunday morning service, for broadcast service, even,
Jesus, the one-man churches, like where you're doing like everything.
Definitely. It becomes too much, and you get overwhelmed, and to the point you don't want to do it. Like now, then it kind of like I know for me, it made me question, like, am I doing this for the Lord, or am I doing this for man? You know what I'm saying? So it's a big difference, and that's where we come into play of setting boundaries.
Yes.
And if it's something that's overwhelming you, I'm just going to say no, or just I'm not coming, and it's okay. And nobody's going to manipulate me or make me feel bad for saying no, because throughout the week, you guys don't, people don't know what you go through throughout the week, what you have to face, what you have to, you have to go through. And then, people are not being, they're not extending grace, like, okay, life does happen, but, some people like, oh, but you got to do this for the church, this for the Lord.
The Lord knows your heart. The Lord knows your heart, and when you can't do it, it's okay. God knows, and that's the thing. Like, like you said, you got to set boundaries. You got to set, some limits for yourself, right? And at the end of the day, like, we need to be mindful. Like, And we always, you know, we work in this field where we always talk about self-care, right? Because if we're not taking care of ourselves, like how can we take care of our kids? How can we take care of our families? How can we take care of anybody else, right? And so it's really important that we're mindful and we're setting those boundaries, even with our own family. If I can't do something, listen, I can't do it. And I had to do that with my own family because I got to the point where I'm like, you know, I'm the oldest from my mom. So I'm like, you know, all the responsibilities and, you know, oh, we need you to do this. We need you to do that. Yeah. And, you know, balancing my own family responsibilities, I had to get to the point and I'm like, no, if you need me, you need to let me know at least a week in advance. Because like, we got to make appointments. Like we can't just like do things. And, you know, so you have to set boundaries for yourself. You know, your well-being is like the most important thing right now. And it's not being selfish. It's taking care of yourself so you can take care of everybody else that you need to take care of, you know, especially like your immediate family and whatnot.
Absolutely. Someone said absolutely. Sometimes church can make you feel like you're not living up to the expectations.
Oh yes, I hear you. Listen, I feel you. I hear. I came from church today, so definitely hear you. Yeah.
We'll have to take a time out. I didn't go today. I just like immediately disconnect. Like like this week was something else. Like I'm a strong individual, but like this week, like dealing with, you know, the state when they come in the building, different regulations, you know, they want to ask for this, ask for that, ask for this. Then the staff, you got to take care of the staff because director, you know, make sure things are in place. And then, you know, you got residents that want to act out and have behaviors, act the fool, have a behavior. And people don't really, and I wrote a post about like, you know, we're essential psychologists, therapists, you know, social workers, we're all essential because we deal with people that you don't even want to deal with. And so it's like, you know, they don't know the magnitude of it's not physical, it's more mental than anything. And what we have to deal with and throughout the week. So I was like, you know, I had a patient that he wanted to kill himself. So I had to do one-on-one with him, sit in the room with him. So he won't do self-harm. So it's like people don't know. So I had to like disconnect. I was like, I'm not gonna be able to do it. Like, nope, I'm not coming. Like, I'm not going. Like, and I don't have to say that because I don't have to, like, I don't feel like as though I need to explain myself or explain, you know, what's going on to you. Like, this is what it is, and I'm gonna stand on it. Period. Like, I'm not coming today, or I'm not doing this. And like you said, setting those boundaries, and people don't like boundaries. That's the thing. People don't like boundaries because if it's not benefiting them, then it's like you're no good to me, you know. And I can, you know, if it was the roles reversed, you know, they'll feel a certain type of way too. So it's like, you know, I just put myself in, you know, self-preservation is everything. At the end of the day, church, work, I gotta take care of me because at the end of the day, if something happened to me, who's gonna take care of my daughter?
There you go. And you got to think about that, right?
Think about that. Like if I go to the hospital, who's gonna pay these bills? You know? So I think that, you know, definitely setting boundaries. What are some other ways as far as strategies to help with the burnout, feeling burnt out?
I think sometimes too, having like a supportive network, right? People that understand, like even when you're setting those boundaries, they understand why you're setting those boundaries and reaching out to those people, like, you know, and let them know, you know, I can't do this today. I'm not able to do this. And, you know, let them know. And also like removing any people that are in your life that might be causing some kind of like, you know, negative, you know, burnout, constantly like draining your energy, you know, your physical, your emotional, your mental well-being. And, you know, really trying to just, you know, try to surround yourself with, you know, more, you know, people that are more supportive of you. Right. And everything that you're trying to do or what you need to do. And like you said, you know, really taking time for yourself. You know, we tend to take on so much sometimes and we don't want to take a pause because we just keep going. But you need to realize when you're getting to that point and you're feeling extremely overwhelmed and you cannot take it anymore, you cannot deal with things anymore, to take that time for yourself. And then also, you know, if there's like community organizations that, you know, or agencies that people want to reach out to, more like support groups, those are also good ways, right, to connect with people and to talk and to deal with, whatever situations that you're currently dealing with. And then we talk about, the importance of therapy, right?
Yeah.
Talking to a
Yes.
trained professional to kind of help you to manage some of those stressors that you're dealing with, to help you to put things into perspective, so that you're not at the point where it's really, the burnout is developing into like anxiety or depression, some type of like, disorder. And so just really kind of tuning into those like warning signs is critical and is important.
Yeah, definitely. Because burnout, it can lead to depression.
Mhm.
It can lead to those feelings of hopelessness and anxiety. Like, okay, woe is me. Like,
Mhm.
you feel down and depressed because you really don't know which way to go now, because you got so low to the flow. You don't know how to get back up.
Yeah.
And then here it is, other people, they really don't know. And plus, a lot of people don't say, hey, today I'm not feeling this, or they don't really verbalize their feelings. So you
Mhm.
allow people to keep dumping,
Yeah.
and bring on more baggage instead of, being verbal, like, hey, I ain't gonna be able to do this today. And I
Mhm.
want to encourage everybody to allow to be vocal, like, hey, I cannot, no, I can't. I'm
Yeah.
emotionally unavailable. I will not. You're not gonna burn me out. Like,
Mhm.
I'm too overwhelmed. This is too much. And don't take offense when someone says that.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, I think, and don't apologize for it either. I
Yeah.
think that's another thing. Don't feel guilty for feeling the way you feel. And
Mhm.
when you express that, don't feel no type of way. The person that's on the receiving end don't feel a
Mhm.
certain type of way.
Mhm.
But it is what it is. Like, you burn yourself out. You crispy, toasted.
Yes, yes. Trying to do everything else, trying to please everybody else, but then you're neglecting yourself, right? And then
Yeah.
one of the things too, like, doing things for you that you find, some sense of comfort, right? And even like social media is another place that can cause some kind of burnout, right? Some people are so like addicted to social media,
Yeah.
constantly on here, and you need to disconnect. Like, if you need to disconnect like once, every couple of months, like, you need to do those type of things, like taking break from technology,
Yeah.
making sure you're getting some sleep,
Yeah.
like, so important, right?
Yeah.
We need at least like what, 7 to 8 hours of sleep. And
Yeah.
a lot of times when you're burnt out, you're not able to like get enough sleep. Your sleep pattern changes, and so it's important that we're really making mindful decisions and choices, and
Yeah.
prioritizing ourselves, our lives, like like you said, setting those boundaries,
Yeah.
and being able to like have that ability to even get a good night's rest, right?
Absolutely.
And so there's so many different things that people can do to help them. But I think, just definitely really tapping into things that are helpful to you is like the most critical thing.
Yeah. Yep. Figure out, kind of like rediscover what you like again,
Mhm.
like what you enjoy doing. I think that's the most important. Disconnecting,
Yeah.
evaluating, reflecting,
Yeah.
get your journal, get
Yeah.
your journal, write that thing out, set those boundaries, and don't feel bad about setting those boundaries. What would you say for as far as people that are in relationships? Um,
Ooh,
Relationship
relationship.
burnout. Yeah.
Well,
But some people, you get burnt out, and you kind of like, you linger on, you stay in a relationship because you love the person. You're still
yeah.
in love with the person, but it becomes more and more draining because it's in like it's just kind of like an ongoing battle,
Mhm.
ongoing. Like, you trying to
That roller
explain yourself,
coaster.
and
Yeah.
yeah, it just, I don't know. Both the people, they got bipolar or something, both just going back and forth. Like, what do you do? Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
what do you?
it's, and I'm a big, believer in communication, having open
Yeah,
communication, right? Whenever you're in a relationship, being able to talk to your significant other, your partner, especially when you're experiencing like things that are like causing you to feel some sense of burnout, right? And if it's the relationship that's causing you to feel burnout because the person is not really meeting your needs, or you're putting too much into the relationship and it's causing you to
yeah,
feel burnt out. Again, it goes back to having those conversations, and you have to be honest. You have to be authentic in your conversations with people,
yeah,
right? And so, letting people know, like, where, what's going on, like, oh, this relationship is what's causing me to feel some type of way, and really naming what it is within the relationship that might be causing you to feel the way that you're feeling, right? And and sometimes you just got to make decisions. If the relationship is the one that's impacting you, and you're not able to find some sense of peace within yourself because you're in a relationship that's like, burn you out, it's toxic, then you need to start making some different choices and different decisions for yourself, right? And it goes back to prioritizing, right? And set boundaries for relationships too. It might not be the most healthy relationship. And, sometimes, like you said, people get so comfortable, they get so complacent, like within the relationships, that they don't want to just like leave it. But it's important that we're assessing our relationships that we're in and really making sure, are they nourishing us, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, like, is it nourishing, us as a person? And if it's not, then we need to start making some choices and some decisions that will be more beneficial to us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Someone said people are burnt out trying to live right. Yeah, you're right.
Encouragement and support from your spouse and significant other helps a great deal. Yeah, most definitely. You need that. You don't need a spouse that's like judgmental, or there has to be a sense of like, support, if I'm doing something. And also the support can look like, when you're doing too much, that person can also try to like, help you to find that sense of balance, right? Sometimes you might not even realize that you're doing it, but somebody else might see it. Your significant other might see that you're taking too much on. But you have to be also willing to be open to listen to what they have to share with you. So I definitely, agree with that in terms of encouragement, and the support definitely is important. It's a need.
It's definitely it. Yeah, like, hey, somebody pull your coattail, like, hey, you're doing too much.
Yeah,
my friends, they'll tell me, Shakia, you're doing too much. I'm like, all right. I'll take it into consideration, because I need somebody to pull my coattail and be like, hey, scale that back, before you wreck yourself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
My husband has no problem telling me that. How is this benefiting you? We need to think about things differently. And I'm like, I don't want to admit that he's right, but he'd be right. And so right. I have to listen, and they see it. And sometimes too, like, you get so burned out from like, doing other things that you might be neglecting another part of your life, right? When we talk about the family dynamics, like our kids, our spouses, we might be taking on too much in terms of like our workloads, that we're neglecting our family as well. And so, we just got to be mindful in regards to like how we're moving, how we're living, how we're doing things. Like, we're, looking for those signs that are happening when we're in these like, places where we're overwhelmed, where we're stressed, and we don't necessarily know what to do.
Yeah, that's good. That's good, Michelle.
I'm trying.
No, you in the book, like the preacher, like, you're in the book.
I went to church today. I told you I went to church today, so
you're in the book. No, definitely those. It's so essential and so direct. And on. Someone said constructive criticism.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Definitely. Being able to take it. Yeah. Well, definitely. It's coming from a place of, love, and being able to, like, someone being able to receive that, right? It's all, and I'm a firm believer in how you say things to people, right? There's a way that you talk to people and you say things to people. And I think, people are more receptive to that than, when you're trying to like say things in a way that's not necessarily, the most appropriate way, right?
So what does that look? What does that sound like?
Oh my God! So like, So like, and I'll take like my husband, for instance, if I'm getting to the point where I'm doing too much, he'll say to me, I'm just kind of like noticing that, you're taking on a lot. Maybe, you might want to reconsider things. and, see, and, are you okay? Even just checking in with me just to see if I'm okay. Right. That's good. I love that. Like checking in with me. And if I'm not okay, I want to be able to communicate with him and say, no, I'm not okay. Maybe I am taking on too much. Maybe I'm doing, I need to kind of like scale back on some things that I'm doing within my life. But, it has to come from a place of love, a place of like, compassion, and, just really the person really making certain that, generally that you're in a good place. Right. So,
yeah, not like you need to.
Yeah, no, we're not receiving that.
Because some people, that's when you shut down.
Yeah, no, because you want people to be able to approach you and tell you things from a loving, caring, compassionate way, and not like, oh, you need to just stop what you're doing. You're doing too much. No, don't tell me that. Say it in a way where I'm able to like receive what you're telling me, right? And what is it saying? Like you catch more bees with honey than with vinegar.
Absolutely.
So
definitely
be careful, So
we definitely gotta use our words and use it, because when people yelling and screaming and like cats and dogs, we're not listening. We're not hearing anything. We're not connecting. We're not identifying. We're not trying to fix the problem. And when people fuss, I'm like, okay, so what is the issue? What's the problem? Like, what is it? Because I just want to know so I can fix it. And if it's something with me, I don't have a problem admitting to it. Okay, it's me, or okay, I'm doing too much, or get myself together. But but other than that, but we just have to communicate effectively. And also accept it and embrace what they're saying. And they doing it, like you said, out of love, especially when they see you hanging off a cliff. Like, okay, you're doing too much. You're taking on too much. If like, just say for instance, with work, you're taking on all these caseloads and things like that. And, your significant other, your spouse, they see you just drowning, without a life jacket, just drowning. And so, when they come to you and, sometimes we have to be vulnerable enough and say, hey, yeah, I am. Sometimes we lie and say, no, I'm good.
Yeah, but you dying inside. You're dealing with you're struggling inside. No. And that's the thing. I love what you said about being vulnerable, right? And I think, sometimes even, for us as women, like sometimes we just want to carry so much and do so much. And, we have to get to the point where it's okay when, to allow yourself to be vulnerable. And, one of the things that I read, because I love Brene Brown, and she said, vulnerability equals courage, right? So when we're able to be vulnerable, it shows that we're courageous. It's showing us, a side that we're human, and it's okay to let other people see you. Like, you don't have to always hold it together. You can't always hold it together. It's difficult. And it's okay that we allow people to see that, right? And when we're struggling, it's okay that we seek help, we seek support from other people that we trust and we love, that that we care about or care about us. And so, like, when you said the vulnerability, I was just like, oh, you're so right. Like, we gotta be vulnerable, learn to be vulnerable and make it okay.
Yeah. And I think we have to get comfortable in doing that. Also finding the right people to be vulnerable with.
Yes, that's critical. Yes. I talked about that, removing those negative people from your life, right? If they're causing you to have burnout, right? And like that goes back to that, like, having positive people, or, people that are in your corner that you feel that sense of comfort, like you said, to be vulnerable with them and not feeling that you're constantly being judged when you're going to them and actually, like, expressing yourself to them and saying, I'm actually at the point where I'm feeling stressed out. I'm burned out and I just need, I need you to support me or something to that extent. So yeah, most definitely. I agree with that.
Yeah. I'm still unlearning and learning all over again. I'm still young, 35, but I'm definitely learning.
You are young. Once you go over 40, you're like, oh, everybody in your 30s. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, so I'm learning. Like
Yeah.
each experience, I get more and more knowledge of, like dang, life and human behavior and human interactions, and I think more so with dealing with the geriatric population, kind of like they school me like, baby, schizophrenia and everything. They be like, baby, don't do that. You're on the deep end. They hold me accountable, and I learn from them, and I learn some of the things that that we talk about on a day-to-day basis with them. And I kind of like, they was like, well, don't do what I did, and do this. This helps better. This change your whole perspective about this or that. And I'm like, oh. Then they go on and start talking about something else. Then they have that moment of clarity, like, oh, okay. Then it's back to something else. So it's just like, I just take it one day. I tell people just to pace yourself. Pace yourself. Be cautious with yourself. Treat yourself, as far as like with tender love and care.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do it, if people don't see you doing that, then they're not going to do that. And I think that, setting that tone and setting that standard from the beginning, even with family that, oh, I need you to come get, like, wait a minute.
That last minute. So I told you about my 1 week rule. Don't call me unless you give me 1 week. Let me know what day. Okay. You're making an appointment? Yeah, we're okay with that. Yeah, we could do appointment. Yeah, that last minute stuff. No, I don't do it.
Oh, mom and them want you to wait a minute. No. I ain't gonna be able to do that. Like,
and I love my mom, and she has a habit of doing that. Like, I'll go pick her up, right? And she'll like get in my car, and it's like, oh, we got one, we have a plan to go to one place.
Yeah.
And, oh, we're gonna go to the store. As soon as she gets in the car, oh, we gotta go here. We gotta go. I said, Ma, no, now I don't work like that. I'm like, I love you. But nah, we gotta set, you gotta let me know ahead of time. So I'm planning my day. I'm figuring out what we need to do, right? But it's important, like you said, send those boundaries with our own family and with people that that we care about, and they need to respect that and understand that, so we're not getting to the place where we're so burned out. You said something about the job, right? And one of the things that I wanted to say too, like regarding our jobs, I think a lot of times too, people take on so much just within the job, right? We might get tasked with doing, all these different roles and responsibilities. And I want people to understand it is okay to say no, right? Especially if you're feeling stressed, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if that, if adding that one more thing to your plate is going to make you feel overwhelmed and burnt out, then you need to it's okay to say no. And you need to explain that to your supervisors or your, higher ups and let them know that, listen, as much as I would love to take this, role or this responsibility, I'm feeling, that I'm emotionally exhausted or, I'm physically exhausted and that I really, as much as I would love to do it, I just can't do it. And we have to be able to communicate those type of things as well.
Yeah. Not just say, no, I ain't.
Yeah, you gotta explain it.
You gonna get fired.
Let's just explain it in a good way, right?
Right. No, you definitely communication. Like, hey, I'm not gonna right now, I'm just not in a good space. To let me just do my I can't take on somebody else's work, so I think, just explaining. Actually articulating to them, hey, this is why I can't do this.
And even separating yourself from the job, right? When you get home, if you have a 9 to 5, after 5, you need to turn off your phone. Like I've set for myself, with my day job, after 3:30 or 4 o'clock, whenever I get home, I make a conscious effort to not check my email. Because my kids have a tendency sometimes to just email me random things, and then I have to respond, right? Because the kid is telling me, oh, I'm going to do this, and they're with their parents. So if you're with your parents, a lot of times, you should be okay, but but they're comfortable with me, so they all send things. So I'm like, you have to make a conscious effort to not check your email once you leave that job, especially like, on my weekends. I'm like, no, I can't check my email, because anything, if it's like really pressing, there's other people that they might be able to get in contact with, and, we'll figure it out. But I try not to check my email. Like because I don't want to get burned out. I have to leave that alone. And I love my kids that I work with, but I also need my time, right? The weekend is my time. So, we have to make those conscious efforts as well.
Yeah, I like how you said you disconnect. You like no email, but sometimes I know for me, sometimes I still check the email sometimes, like, oh, what's going on in the building? Yeah, I know. Because I'll be like, oh my gosh, I was just like, all right, cool. All right, they're good.
No, so, I know. Because you're the supervisor too. So it's different too for you, and that's the thing. But maybe you got to figure out maybe one day, right, that you're going to check maybe 30 minutes, but you're not going to check it again. You got to, prioritize and not really do too much of that, because I think we have to find that work-life balance, right?
Yeah.
And so to be able to make sure that we're navigating that effectively, we need to make certain that we're setting those boundaries, like you said. We gotta set that for ourselves with our job, because, God forbid something happens to you, they're gonna replace you. So I always put that in the back of my mind.
Yes, like next, you got come on over. Okay, I got you.
I had to accept myself.
No, you're absolutely right, because I just, I do what I can for the residents, because I love my residents. I love everybody, but I just try to, I know sometimes I extend myself, because I'll be like, oh. And then be like, oh no. Then other times, the ones that be getting on my nerve, I'll be like, I'm done talking to you. I'm done. I ain't doing nothing else, So like Shakia, I'll be like, what? All right.
Definitely. Somebody say you're irreplaceable.
Oh, thank you, Sarah. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, but it's just, you just try to, just do right by people. That's my thing. My mom, Sheila, if she on here, hey mom.
Yes, Sheila.
And you guys are Taurus too.
Yes. I'm feeling that. I'm all excited about all the information today. Taurus, her name is Miss Sheila. I'm loving it.
Yeah. So, my mom taught me love on everybody, like the old to the young, people in between, but I look out for the old and the young people. Everybody, y'all got to defend for yourself.
Yes. And somebody said in here, this is why I do the bare minimum at my job. It's not my company. Listen, whatever gets you through, right?
Who said that?
Do your job. Just do your job. Not the bare, but just do your job. Make sure you're getting your job, doing what it is that you need to do, but don't take on too much.
Right. The bare minimum. I'm scared.
Yes. Just make sure you're doing your job.
Yeah, so you won't get fired.
Too much. Yes.
Right.
But just do
so you
job.
Get a good review when it's time for raise time.
That was cute. I love that.
Yeah. So any questions? You guys can, ask questions now. We're gonna wrap it up. Thank you so much. It's been 43 minutes.
Oh my God, time flies when you're having fun. I'm enjoying it.
Yes.
I need to get some tea from you. I need to get some tea. I'm about to order some tea. I'm excited. I can't wait.
Look, I left everything in the car. I don't know what I was thinking. I left so I could have a water bottle, have a glass of water bottle.
I saw all the stuff.
Oh, you saw it. So okay, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna post it again. Okay. Yeah. So I just got that, so I'm trying to, do a little razzle dazzle.
There you go. Listen, I'm not knocking it. Do what you got to do. Right?
So I can buy more products, because I'm trying to do something in June for Juneteenth.
Cool.
So for the community. Last year for my birthday, I fed community. I fed over 100 people. Wow. Gave PPE gear out. I want to do the same thing this year, and then do another celebration. It's for me, it's for the people, it's for the culture at the end of the day. I just want to normalize mental health, one episode at a time, get everybody familiar and comfortable about talking about different topics. So
Yeah.
it's like, it's okay to, like, hey, it's okay to go to a therapist.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Just unlearning and relearning again, So, and like I tell people, we're all like onions. Everybody got layers,
Mm.
The therapist,
Yes.
peel back those layers. It's okay. Some stuff you probably didn't even know about yourself. So it's like,
no,
okay,
you gotta do that work, right? And like you said, on learning and relearning.
Yeah.
The person that you were like in your 20s is not the person that you are now. The person that you were in your 30s is not the person that you are now.
Yeah.
And so it's like, this constant need to like reassess yourself, right? And figuring out, the things that that you need right now, the type of person that you are right now. And I think that's so critical and that's so important. And we all need to do that for ourselves, I need to get back to doing that.
I'm gonna have to get you a journal. So everybody, this is my cousin Sheila. Ladies and gentlemen, cousin Sheila.
Your mom is Sheila too. That's my auntie Sheila.
For real. Come to New York.
Yes, you got a place to stay. Come, I got you.
We going to New York. We're gonna come to New York and be like, what's up?
Yes, you got a place to stay. I'm telling you, come. You enjoy it.
Yeah, I really, really appreciate it. It's no questions. Make sure you tune in next week, everybody. I love you guys. Thank you, Ms. Sheila, for getting on the live and giving us your knowledge and your wisdom and your knowledge. And I'm definitely honored. It's been a pleasure. I can't talk because I'm excited because I talk too fast when I get somebody,
You're like,
it's been an honor. Thank you so much for coming on the show and saying yes. This is
thank
dope.
you for having me. I appreciate the fact that you even thought about me to reach out to me and allow me to be in the space with you and just sharing. I just want to thank your audience for coming on and listening to us. This has been fun. Like, I had a wonderful time, and I hope that we can do some things together in the near future. So I'm really excited about that. Yeah,
I'm gonna be like, hey, cousin Sheila, we need to do this. We need to talk about this.
I'm open to it. Listen, I'm open to it. So just let me know whenever you're ready. We good. We're gonna get it together.
Okay, cool. Cool.
All right, cool. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah. Yeah. Everybody tune in next week. It's gonna be amazing. I'm not gonna be at home. I'm gonna be celebrate my daughter. She's turning 13 on the 26th of April.
Birthday, my Taurus. Oh, enjoy.
Just all in the family. Just all in the family.
That's why I said I'm family now, So is that Taurus connection and your mom's name? We're good.
Yeah. We all good. Yeah. So it's been good today. It's a good day. It's a good day indeed. So I'll be from the hotel room next week. So yeah. So you guys tune in. I'll post up, who's next on the podcast and all that good stuff. So I see you guys and I love you guys. You guys have a great Sunday.
Thank you.
Thank you.